Hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Sorare Beginner Series. Buying your Sorare team is an important decision, one that should not be taken lightly. It's, after all, what will allow you to compete and win those rewards, and eventually scale up your gallery. So here are my 5 things you should consider when buying your team. Number 1, rotation. This is an important one. Whenever buying a Sorare team, you have to look at how consistent is the manager in his starting 11 selection. Starting with the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper is the most expensive position in Sorare. So when picking your team, make sure that your goalkeeper plays all the games of your team, both midweek and weekend. If for some reason the goalkeeper rotates with the number 2, or there's no clear number 1, and both goalkeepers play interchangeably, consider a different team. If for some reason you really want to play with this team, I don't recommend it, but do a lot of research prior to making any purchase. Look at websites or X accounts that cover your team and are able to provide you with reliable information on which goalkeeper is going to play. Also, look into services from league specialists that are being offered on X. There are plenty of people who specialize in given leagues, especially in those more exotic leagues like K-League or J-League, that would provide you with information, lineup predictions, injuries, suspensions, and all of that prior to the Sorare deadline. They usually charge like $5 a month, and you can subscribe to them to have that peace of mind that will potentially help you choose the best players for any given game week. Point number 2, how good is the team? Are they clearly the best team in the league? How dominant are they? How many clean sheets do they keep? How many goals do they score? And how consistently do they score? Are there clear 5 players from that given team that you could buy to build your Sorare lineup that will deliver you results week in and week out? Let's look at FC Barcelona. Okay guys, so we're looking at FC Barcelona here. We just pulled it up on Sorare data. The first thing I like to do is I want to only be looking at Sorare players. I'm not really interested in any other players. Okay, so first thing I want to see is if we have a one pretty much starting goalkeeper, right? So we have Ter Stegen here, and we see that he has played 67% of the last 15 games, but 0% of the last 5 games, right? So in that case, I'd like to click on him, and I'd like to see what was really going on in those last 5 games. Okay, as you can see, so that's, those are the Germany games of Euro 2024 that's going on now, where pretty much Neuer is playing all the games. So that explains everything. But other than that, we can see that Ter Stegen pretty much has been the starter since February this year. Before that, since November till Feb, he's been out of the squad, so I imagine he was injured. That's why he didn't play. So we can assume that Ter Stegen plays all the games. Like, he played with Napoli, so obviously that's a midweek game, and he plays all the weekend games as well. So he's playing both League and Champions League. So this is great. So the goalkeeper is a good choice. Now let's see how many clean sheets he actually has. So if you guys can see this, like you can see here, we have 4 game weeks, clean sheets and really good scores. So that's very promising. Before that, we can see, more clean sheets here and here. So that's perfect. All right, so we know that the goalkeeper is playing. We know he's a good scorer. So that's one consideration. Okay, let's look at the defenders. So we have Pau, Kubarsi, Kunde, and Araujo, some of our choice, and Christensen probably, right? And Cancelo, which could be a good option. So here I can see that probably Kubarsi is the best of the bunch. He's, more than twice as expensive as Araujo or Kunde, and even Cancelo, because he's 17 years old and he's a starter. That's pretty much where that price is coming from. But let's see if it's pretty much, if the value is there, right? Like we have the price is one thing, but is he a good scorer? So he's a decent scorer as well. Okay, that was the game for the Spain national team. But for Barcelona, he had a good run, but not really, right? Like Barcelona had a clean sheet and he only scored 54 points. That's not great. Like you really want to have, when your team has a clean sheet, you definitely want your defenders scoring above 60. So 65, 70, like if these were his scores, I would say great. I wouldn't buy this card. Let's compare it to Cancelo. Let's do Koundé first. They're all pretty much the same price, except this Kubarsi player. So we have Koundé, so 5 scores, really good scorer. Okay, so these are the games for the French national team. But look at this, like really great. And as a right back, those are really good scores. Here, a no clean sheet. He probably lost some challenges there too. This one, not great, but it's an outlier. Like 4 games before that, were really good. And as a right back, he's also capable of getting you the assists, which will give you an extra point. So Koundé is a really good pick. He also plays for the French national team. Let's take a look at Araujo. Also overall pretty good. Yeah, but Koundé is a better scorer still. He has more of these high-end scores, like above 70, above 80, compared to Araujo. Araujo is on a good day he's above 80, and that doesn't happen that often. So he's not a great scorer overall. So personally, I wouldn't go for Araujo, I would go for Koundé, especially that they cost the same. Okay, let's do Christensen quickly. Christensen is okay, like he scores better than Araujo, I think. Oh, he's playing center mid as well. That's not great. The reason I say that's not great is because obviously he's not a center midfielder. So if he's going to be playing center mid, he may not be as effective as a midfielder would be, and that would affect his score. I actually don't like situations where they're playing off their nominal position. Like look at this one. He's been playing for 86 minutes, got only a yellow card, and his score was 24 or 29 here. So I would definitely not go for Christensen. And Cancelo. So Cancelo has a really good run. He's been actually, he's capable of getting this assist, but with an assist, scoring only 69, that's kind of low. I definitely want to see more. Yeah, if he doesn't get an assist, look, a clean sheet and only 52 points. So I guess it's a cool card to have. Like sometimes see like this one, 0-0, 76, with an assist, 60 and a 3-3 draw. Here an assist, yeah, this one, yeah. Yeah, still I would prefer Koundé, but Cancelo, he's capable of those assists as well, so he could be a consideration. You could probably, you might consider playing both defenders for FC Barcelona, so you'd play Koundé and you'll play Cancelo at that time. Okay, so let's look at our midfield now. Who would we want to be at our midfielder? So I already have some favorites, and that would be either İlkay Gündoğan or Fermin. Or Pedri maybe, but as you can see, Pedri is pretty much the price of both, of İlkay Gündoğan and Fermin combined. So I would much rather buy, İlkay and Fermin versus Pedri. I would buy these two cards instead. In case of a rotation, I could play another card instead of just buying Pedri. Frankie de Jong is injured currently, and same is Gavi, but those are also good cards. But Gavi, even though he's injured, he's still $30, which is the same price of Gündoğan, and Gündoğan's just a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so let's look at their scores quickly. Yeah, just look at this, guys. Like, this is incredible. And how he's playing on Euros as well is just, he always does something. He always delivers an assist, and just even if he doesn't assist, like look, you can expect him to score around 60. So just a very reliable player. I really like him. I really like Ilkay Gundogan for this one. Furman is capable of scoring goals. But that's pretty much it, right? Like if he doesn't score, he's gonna score in like, or he doesn't assist, right? He doesn't get a decisive. He's going to be scoring on the lower side. So that's something that I'm not too crazy about, right? That's why I would prefer to play Gundogan versus Furman for that reason. Okay, so we have our mid. Let's now take a look at our striker. So Lamine Yamal, hyped player, like everybody likes him, but he costs $100, where Lewandowski, who's their number 9, costs 17. I think so. Lewandowski is the kind of striker that can create his own chances, and he can also put them away. He's also a great penalty taker. I'm not sure if he takes penalties at Barcelona, but because there is so much quality in Barcelona's team, there will be so much supply to Lewandowski that he will have enough opportunities just created by his teammates for him to score those goals. So I think Lewandowski for this price is probably the pick you want to go for. Rafinha doesn't play all the games, like 60%, and he's more expensive than Lewandowski, just because Lewandowski is older, but he still has at least a season or two in him. Okay, so let's just look at his scores as well for Lewandowski. Yeah, as you guys can see, he has no problem scoring goals and getting assists. Like he can score 3, gets 100 points, and that happens frequently. 2 assists and a goal, assist coming in from the bench for just the 29 minutes of the game. So yeah, he's gonna be our pick. Okay, so now that we have all our players picked out, let's go to Builder Concepts Beta, and let's look at let's just pull the FC Barcelona team that we just looked at, all the players. So we have Ter Stegen. Cool. Then we have Koundé that we liked. Cool. Then we have our midfielder, which was Ilkay. We had Lewandowski. And we have to pick another player. So let's see who's available as our 5th. So Ingo Martinez has been playing lately. So I would say our 5th player would probably be down to whoever is playing in that given game week. So we'll probably have to pick up like a couple cheaper players and just play whoever is playing. A good one is to play sometimes 2 defenders, a mid and a forward. So let's say we'll go for Cancelo, for example. So this is our team, $158, and we have a pretty good Barcelona team that can win us rewards. We can look at how much they scored in the last 6 months, right? So we can see pretty much their scores. So you can see that they are, they're capable of all scoring well in a game week. And a lot could actually come down to the collection bonus. I'll put the link to the video about collections in the description of this video. But let's see that we had a Barcelona collection and all of our players, let's say they were all at 10%, and I want to click apply power. So that's already bringing their scores much higher. So in Global All-Star, you need to have higher scores. So that's why I wouldn't be looking at this Concepts Beta too much. But if we play other competitions, like contender or like the cap competitions, which are actually going away in August. I'll make a video about that, explaining a little bit more what's going on. But other competitions make it easier to win prizes. But we can see that these players are scoring above 350 pretty much consistently, and that's a good score. You're gonna win some cards with 350 in certain competitions. Maybe not in Global All-Star, but in certain competitions you will. Alright guys, back to the main video. Point number 3 has to do with information. How easy is it to find information about the lineups, suspensions, and potential rotations in the starting 11 of your team? Are there websites, X accounts that you can subscribe to that will provide you with that information? This is something that we talked about, as the very first consideration, because actually it is one of the most important ones. See, the biggest problem, the biggest challenge I would say of Sorare is finding the information. That's why I always like to say that knowledge is power when it comes to Sorare, because it really is. If you know that a player will feature in a given game, especially if it's a goalkeeper and other players don't know about it, ultimately this gives you an edge. The most important thing when looking for the websites that will provide you with information about your team is if